Hey guys, so we have made it this far to the FX part of our game. This is where we really start to bring our game to life. So before we go any further, let's go ahead and commit these changes. And give me just a second here. My collab has lost its link. I just need to reactivate it. So here, refresh access. There we go. Okay, so we just finished up our UI. So we'll go ahead and say here, implemented UI and cleaned up our code. Publish now, and we're good to get started. Also, there's one more thing I wanted to do. I noticed that when we were anchoring everything, we didn't really anchor our center screen position. So let's go ahead and anchor our title screen to the center of the screen. So here, if we click on our title image, go to the inspector, and we can go ahead and say stretch in the bottom right corner here. This will stretch to all four corners so that it's always going to be in the middle. And as you can see, it's always in the middle. Okay. So what's the first thing that we're going to be doing? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually look into audio and getting some music into our game. So we have a soundtrack that we're going to be playing, as well as we have some sound effects. So to get started, let's go ahead and do the main menu, the main menu and the base game music, which is the easiest. So to get started, the first thing we're going to do is let's click on our main camera, and you're going to see there's an audio listener. Let's go ahead and add an audio source. An audio source is how Unity can play an audio clip. So for instance, an audio source allows you to play a clip, and then there are some instructions that we can give it. For example, play on awake. We can also loop the track. So the track we're going to be working with is going to be inside our audio folder, and it is the music background. And you can go ahead and demo it out right here. All right, and it's a looping track. So what I want you guys to do is click on your main camera, audio clip. We're going to add the music background, and then go ahead and make sure play on awake is select as well as loop. And let's go ahead and run our game, and it's that easy. Now already, having music in our game is already starting to bring it to life. So what we want to do now is complement the background music with some sound effects from our weapon and explosions. So let's go ahead and implement our laser shot. So with our laser shot, just like with our main camera, and to play this audio, we need an audio source. Well, likewise, our player is going to need an audio source to play the laser shot clip. So if we click on our player here, which is a prefab, we can go ahead, we can give him an audio source, and we can go ahead and provide the clip, laser shot. Now make sure that we turn play on awake off, because we do not want to do that. We only want to play this shot when you actually press the space key or fire. Whatever your fire method is, that's when you want to play this shot. So that means that we have to know how to access this through code. So just like any other component, we get a reference to the audio source component, and then there's a play method to actually play that audio clip. So let's open up our player, and let's go ahead and play the laser shot. So we've already added it to our player. We just need to go ahead and create the functionality. So open up your Visual Studios or MonoDevelop. Okay, so in our player here, we need to first get a reference to our audio source that's attached to our player. So to do that, just like normal script communication, we're going to say private audio source, not audio settings, audio source, and then we'll go ahead and call it audio source with an underscore. Now we need to actually assign that component. Now when assigning this component, I don't need to find the game object because I'm already on the game object. So I can actually just say audio source equals get component. And that's going to grab the component off the game object that this script sits on, which is our player. So here we're going to say audio source, and now we have access to our audio source. So what we want to do is we want to fire off a sound every time we shoot, which is right here. And we only want to do that if we can fire. So if time.time is greater than can fire, then that means we have fired. So right here, let's go ahead and play our clip. So to do that, we're going to access our audio source, and we're going to say .play. By calling this method, whatever track is assigned via the inspector is the clip that will be played. So let's go ahead and test this out. We'll go ahead, start the game. We got our background music. hit space, spawn our player in. If we click on our player while the game is running in the inspector, you see he has a laser shot, and there you go. It's amazing, truly amazing how much sound brings life into your game. Okay, let's go ahead and further, and let's go ahead and implement the explosion sounds. So here we go. We have a explosion sound right here, alright, which we're going to use for our ships. So when do we want to display? When do we want to explode or play this clip? It's when the enemy dies. So we're going to go to the enemy. Let's look at the enemy prefab. We need to add an audio source to it. So here's the enemy. Go ahead and add an audio source component. And then let's go ahead and add our audio clip, which is going to be explosion sound. Alright, play on awake is off. Save your scene, just in case. And let's head over to our enemy AI script. Now, when do we want to play this clip? We want to play this clip when we get hit by the player or the laser. So we're going to do it down here. Just like before, we need a reference to our audio source component. So here we say private audio source. And we'll go ahead and call it audio source. Okay, and let's go ahead and get that component now. So we say audio source equals get component and the audio source we want. Alrighty. Now, when we destroy the enemy AI, that's when we want to go ahead and play our sound clip. So here we're going to go ahead and say audio source dot play, and we'll do that when the player hits us as well, right before we destroy. Okay, dot play. Alright, go ahead and save this. Head back into Unity. Let's go and test it out. So we'll go ahead and spawn in here, and let's go ahead and shoot them. Okay, so you'll notice that there's no sound when we destroy the enemies, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is by the time we said play the audio, we also destroyed the game object, which means it took the sound with it. So we can't do that. Instead, what we want to do is we basically want to instantiate an audio clip that's basically just going to say, hey, go ahead and play this clip. I'm about to get destroyed. So luckily, we can actually do that using what's called audio source.playClipAtPoint. And playClipAtPoint allows us to actually instantiate a sound clip. Now, in order for that to work, our enemy needs to know what clip is it going to instantiate. So what we need to do is we need to create here a private variable called audio clip. This will allow this class to hold an audio clip such as the explosion sound. We'll go ahead and call it clip. And then what I want you guys to do is make it a serialized field so we can see it in the inspector. And let's go ahead and save our script. Head back into Unity. Click on our AI prefab. And you'll see here it's looking for an audio clip. The clip we're going to use is the explosion sound. So drag it there. You can actually remove this audio source since we're no longer going to need it. And then let's go ahead, open it back up, and let's go ahead and instantiate this. Now the way to do that is to call, we're going to say audio source, capital audio source, dot play clip at point. And what play clip at point does is plays an audio clip at a given position in world space. So the clip we want to play is our underscore clip, and then our position is going to be transform.position. Pretty simple. And we can go ahead and copy this line, or you can go ahead and retype it out down here by going audio source dot play clip at point. We're going to spawn in our clip, and we're going to do it at the ship's transform position. Now let's go ahead and save this and test it out. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and load it up here. Hit space. Now, I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I could hear it, but it was very subtle. And the reason for that is I believe that when we play clip at point, it's creating it in a 3D space, when in reality what we want to do is actually spawn that clip at the main camera, which is closest to the person playing the game, so you can actually hear that track. So let's go ahead and change the position to the main camera. And the way we do that is instead of transform.position, we simply type C camera.main, which is a built-in Unity way to access the main camera. And then from there we can say transform.position. And we'll do the same thing here. C camera.main, that gets the main camera, and then let's get its transform.position. Let's go ahead and save this, test it out, and it should be much louder. So we'll hit space. There you go. And now we have some awesome sound effects. So if you have your own sound effects in your games, or if you have your own type of sci-fi effects, by all means, please use your own sound effects. For instance, you can go ahead and you can add all sorts of sounds to this game. The next one we're going to be adding here is a power-up sound. So when we collect any of our power-ups, we're going to go ahead and play that. So let's go ahead, and very similar to what we just did, we have to do the same thing with the power-up. And the reason for that is because as soon as you collect the power-up, we destroy it, right? Which means the audio source will be taken away from it. So as a challenge to you guys, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and make it so that when you pick up a power-up, it will play the power-up sound. I'll see you guys in the challenge review.